Welcome to Cigars on the Front Porch with your host, Uncle Scotty. We are on episode number 19. That's episode number 19 of Cigars on the Front Porch. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We want to get as many people involved or learning about this process, this hobby, this activity. Today, we're going to be going over the CAO Brazilia 5x56 Toro. It is a full body. The wrapper is a Brazilian. The binder is Nicaraguan. The filler is Nicaraguan. It's toasty, earthy, earthy, and nutty. It's been sitting in the humidor since March the 23rd, and today is December the 9th. And it's about 4:53 in the evening, and it is 71 degrees in this weather in South Carolina. Like I said, if you're here in this state, the rule of thumb is if the weather's one way in the morning, stick around, it'll change. So I can't believe on December the 9th that it's 71 degrees outside, but it is. So I just took this out of the cellophane, and this is what the cellophane looks like. It's a little brown. And I've been doing experimentation. I've been keeping some cigars in cellophane and some of them out of it. And what I've noticed is that if it's in the cellophane, number one, it protects the wrapper. There's no damage to the wrapper, it stays intact. Number two, in addition to saving the wrapper, it is a crispier, sharper burn whenever you come to light it. And as far as staying lit, it usually stays lit just a smidget better than if you take it out of the wrapper. Just a smidget. Nothing whereas is definitive where you should change the way you do it. The whole point I'm saying is that in order to find out what's best for you, that's one thing I love about this hobby, is that you do what you feel is best for you, not for someone else. So some people like to keep the cellophane on the wrapper. Some people like to take the cellophane off the wrapper. I would say just experiment and find out what you like. You can take the same cigars that you got at the same time and take one of them out of the cellophane and leave one of them in the cellophane, put them side by side and go from there. The only thing that you do not want to take out of the cellophane that you want to keep separate is flavored cigars. Any kind of seriously strong flavored cigars, do not blend them in with your other cigars. They are going to marry very quickly, and then your other cigars are going to have the flavor of you don't want that. So I would encourage you to put them on a separate roll by themselves, or put them in a plastic bag, or keep them in the cellophane and try to keep them as separated as possible. So you do not want your flavored cigars mixed in with your other cigars. So this has been sitting in here for over 8 months now. So we're gonna try it out. I've had some sit for over 2 years, and they're still good. So we're gonna try the CAO Brazilia 5x56 Toro. And if you stick around to the end, I'll let you know what I paid for it, like I always do. Is price important? It's a factor, but it's not the most important thing. You can buy a cigar that costs $30 and it just be horrible. You can buy a cigar that costs $4 and it'd be great. So stick around to the end. I'll let you know what I paid for this one. So we're going to go into the first third. I'm going to go ahead and get this one prepped, and then we'll get ready to go. So stay tuned for Cigars on the Front Porch with your host, Uncle Scotty. All right, we're back with Cigars on the Front Porch with your host, Uncle Scotty. I'm going to try something I've only tried a few times, like recording, I think once or twice recording. I've tried it a couple times individually, but we're going to see how it does. I just thought about it, just popped in my head, and I'm like, what better way to do this? We're going to try something whereas I'm going to pre-toast the ends, and the purpose of doing that is to try and to seal the wrapper, binder, and filler together. before before it's toasted. And notice I'm not putting the flame on the cigar. Don't do that. It'll heat up too fast, and when it does, it's going to leave a very acrid taste. So you want to gradually heat this up and keep the flame away from the cigar. Let the heat do it because it's not going to have an acrid taste to it. You don't want it heating up too fast. Okay, that's one thing about the cellophane. It helps with lighting the cigar. You can light it without it. Now another thing I noticed, now there are some drawbacks with putting your cigars in the humidor with the cellophane. They lack the extra flavor. I think taking them out of the cellophane and letting the wrapper absorb the humidity inside the humidor just makes it a little sweeter. Not sweet like as in sweet, just makes it a little better. Especially if you're humidor, but you just have to be careful to not to damage the wrapper and crack it, and or if it's not enough humidity, or if it's too much heat, the the wrapper will gradually kind of just come apart. But that's if you leave it in there for like years or something, couple weeks, couple months. Nah. But the cellophane does protect the cigar, and it helps with transporting it. It helps with people who lack the etiquette when it comes to cigar. Let me put you on some game. Don't touch the cigar unless you buying it. Don't touch it. You don't need to pick the cigar up and smell it and move it around and look at it and hold it and put it back down into the stack of the other cigars. Don't do that because somebody else has got to purchase that cigar. You kind of should have already made up your mind what you want before you go in there, or you can make it up um, when you're in there once you find out what the cigar is made of. And find out where country it came from, what kind of wrapper or filler or binder is going on with the cigar. You don't necessarily need to pick the cigar up and hold it and look at it and smell it and touch it and squeeze it and like, nah, I'm not gonna get this one, and then put it back in the stack. Don't. It's not fruit in the grocery store. Don't do that. Don't do that. Another thing too with cigar etiquette is the cellophane wrapper. It does not go into the ashtray. Keep it separate. There's nothing in the ashtray but ashes into the ashtray. That's why I call it an ashtray. It's not a trash tray. You keep your trash separate. It's not going to hurt you to get another trash can, leave it at your table, or get your server or maitre d' or whatever and put the wrapper, the band, and everything else in a separate area. Now, if you're sitting on, like when I'm on my porch, you do whatever you want. I'm just saying that if you're in a group or you're in a setting, it's good to have that. Another thing that I encourage to do is if you got a lighter that's got like a rest on it, or get you a cigar rest. And when you go out, take that cigar rest with you. And this is why. For me, I guess maybe I'm a little chronic, a little OCD or something. There's just nothing wrong with that. If you're not, you don't have to do things 57 times backwards or something. I'm not making fun of it because I work in mental health, so it's nothing wrong with that. But the reason why I do it is I want my cigar separate from the community ashtray. Now I will put my ashes in the ashtray, but I don't want my cigar resting on the rest of the ashtray. I just don't. I want my cigar separate. Not that I'm better, But I just don't want my cigar mixed in because the person before you sat there and they put their cigar in there and I'm putting it up and I'm putting it to my lips and I'm touching it. I want to keep my cigar personalized just for me. I don't want it sitting in the community tray. So I don't have no problem with putting the ashes in the tray. I just don't want my cigar sitting in the tray. And then you got somebody, if you got a little small ashtray about the size of your hand, 6, 7 inches or whatever, and there's 3, 4 of them in there, and people are reaching in, they're getting their cigar. Maybe they'll bump and touch yours or something. I don't know. I just like to have mine separate. I like the rest too. But that's just a little thing with me. Now, getting back to the CAO Brazilia 5x56 Toro. This one so far, we just started the first third. I'm marking it at say 5 o'clock. So I figured this one's going to be an hour and a half. So we'll say around 6:30 be my best guess. Kind of a light sweet pepper. You could chalk that up as the nutty kind of flavor. Um, Toasty, yeah. Earthy, yeah, a little bit. We're gonna see what else we can pick up in this one and kind of go from there. It's a wonderful day, as you can hear in the background. There's kids playing. That's just awesome. Uh, that kids are outside. Most time, kids are all plugged up to something electronic, but we got kids outside playing, and they feel safe to come outside and play. So that's a wonderful thing. Let them play. All right, stay tuned for Cigars on the Front Porch as we work on this first third of this CAO Brazilia 5x56. And just when I did that little pre-burn, just taking a look at it now, see if I can get a little closer. It is doing good. It's sealed and it is doing good. We're going to see, hopefully, it'll continue that way. So stay tuned for Cigars on the Front Porch with your host, Uncle Scotty. And we're reviewing this special cigar here, and we're going to see what's going to go on. All right, stay tuned. All right, welcome back to Cigars on the Front Porch with your host, Uncle Scotty. We are finishing the first third of this CAO Brazilia 5x56 Toro. And so far, it is nutty. That's good. There is a little bit of sweetness that's with it. Not a whole lot, just a little bit uh, of that in there. And toasty, yeah, a little toasty, a little nutty, a little toasty, a little earthy. Exactly what it's saying. Slightly sweet, slightly sweet on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 2, 3 at the most. Now I kind of like a little sweetness with my cigars, not overly sweet, just a little bit. So far it's okay. It's very well constructed, very well put together. I've had to touch it up with an uneven burn twice. So that little method that I tried in the beginning, it's not working so far. I don't think there's ever a perfect method to prevent an uneven burn. I think it just happens with cigars at times. I think I've only had very few, one or two, to burn all the way through without it being uneven. So I think it's just a thing that I wouldn't say to expect, but to be on the lookout for when you have a cigar. So just keep your eye on it. I, I have this tendency that if I'm sitting with somebody and I start to see that they got like an uneven burn and it's starting to kind of canoe, I'm like, wait a minute, dude, you gonna touch up your cigar? I've even grabbed a couple from my friends, like, man, give me a cigar, man. He was like, what are you doing? I said, man, you got an uneven burn, man. I mean, that thing is long. You got one end like this and the other end like that. And I was like, dude, you got to fix that, man. So that's just a little pet peeve of mine. But we'll continue on with the CAO Brazilia. It is a good cigar. Once I tell you the price that I paid for it, I'm pretty sure you're going to stock your cigar with it. It is a medium to full body. So far, it's a medium body, pretty much kind of right there in the middle. Yeah, so it's a medium body cigar. Well constructed. It's a good cigar. It's a good cigar. So stay tuned for Cigars on the Front Porch. Make sure that you like and subscribe. This is episode number 19 with the CAO Brazilia. So stay tuned with your host, Uncle Scotty. And we're going to continue going to the second third of this CAO Brazilia. Alrighty. Welcome back to Cigars on the Front Porch with your host, Uncle Scotty. We are reviewing the CAO Brazilia 5x56 Toro. So full body. It says full body, but it's more of a medium body. Um, these Brazilian wrapper, a Nicaraguan binder, and the filler is Nicaraguan, is toasty, earthy, and nutty. We are finishing up on the second third of this cigar, and it is a very it's a good cigar. It really is. It's it's peaceful. It's subtle. Um, I like those subtle sweetness of it. Not enough that's like, yeah, this is me, but enough to like it'll do. It'll work. It'll work. So it's a good cigar. I recommend you stock your humidor with it. Um, so far, we've been at this cigar for an hour and about 10 minutes. And what's left of it, I'm figuring at least another 30 minutes. So we may be able to squeeze an hour and a half to maybe an hour and 45 minutes, which is typical. I had one last night that was 2.5 hours. Um, so I would say if you're going to have a cigar after dinner or after meal, breakfast, lunch, however, that you need to block out at least 2 hours where you're undistracted. You don't have anything else going on, and it's just relaxing. It's okay if you're in a company of other people and you're talking and everything. That's fine. For me, I can do it either way. I prefer to be by myself and just have 2 hours. I kind of turn off a lot of the stimulus. I may listen to some music. That's good, but I can actually just sit for 2 hours and just focus on the cigar and the experience. Sometimes my mind thinks about different things. Other time it's just blank. There's just nothing else there. I encourage everybody to do that, to just unplug. We are so overstimulated with our cell phone and the TV and the next bill we gotta pay and the problems that we got going on in our family or the problems we got going on at work or the issues we got in our marriage or with our kids that we are just so overstimulated and so bombarded with everything that we need time to unplug. And ironically, I found a lot of people that I have as friends or family, they can't. They don't know how to just simply unplug. They don't know how to turn off. Nobody's never taught them how to turn off. I think my mama, um, the late Miss Suni Foster Thomas Dean, um, me and her would just sit for hours, especially after a thunderstorm or during a thunderstorm. We'd open up the front door and we just let the cool air come, sometimes the back door, and just let the cool air flow through the house in the summer. And we would just sit there. And me and Mama, we would sometimes lay on the floor and just take naps on the floor. And you could listen to the rain and feel that nice cool breeze come through the house. And everything was just so much better. You know, my mother's passed, but she taught me the value of sitting still. And I thank you for that, Mama. We just sit still. We didn't. Sometimes we talk. Sometimes we wouldn't talk. And my mama, from time to time, she would make some hot tea, and we would just have some hot tea. It depends on how she felt. And a lot of times, my mama loaded up the tea. I don't know what you call it, just straight sugar. But she ain't measured or nothing. She just straight sugar. I'm like, Mom, this is too sweet. She was like, well, put some water in and make your own. But we would We would have a good time. Um, just me and Mama, and it would be awesome. So I want to thank my mama for that. She did the best she could, and she raised her. I think she did a good job with me, as best she could. So anyway, back to the CAO Brazilia 5x56. We're finishing up the second third, and yeah, we're moving into the final third of the cigar, and it is a good cigar. I've had to touch it up about 4 times, but it hasn't been bad. It's pretty much well constructed, well put together. It is slowed down definitely in the second third. I went from about 3 to 5 puffs, averaging 4 puffs in the first and second third, and then the second third moving to the final third, it has slowed down. It is slowed down, and now it's like a 2 puffs, maybe 3 puffs. All cigars are like that. In the first third, they're gonna run wild. You're gonna get a lot of flavors and this and that. And you got to puff and get the speed going. I did a punch cut, which I'm finding out I'm starting to kind of like. As long as the cigar has its integrity and the cap doesn't crack. Another thing I found out too: don't lick the cigar or wet your fingertips to try to prevent the cigar from cracking when you do a punch cut. I seen I seen somebody do that. Take it and they'll lick the cap and then they'll start. Don't You don't have to do that. Uh, with that, just hold it firmly and gently press into it with the punch. Just gently twist into it, gently, just like you would do a baby's diaper with putting a safety pin in, gently, and it will come out. And I'm starting to like the punch cut. I didn't like it at first. My favorite is a V cut or a crown cut, or some people call it cross cut. I like that. Guillotine cuts, I don't do too many guillotine cuts because guillotine give you like the full mule kick. So I kind of like to get a little subtlety with a little subtle with the subtle with the cigar. So that in my mind, I chalk it up as the punch cuts like 50% of it, kind of flavor, a little bit, not flavor, but kind of gives you like 50% of it. The V cut gives you like 75%, and then the guillotine cut gives you like a 100%. And if you can't do a guillotine cut, I prefer a double guillotine. It just makes that cut real quick, and it just makes it real good. And you only want to take off just a little bit, just a fingernail tip, just a little miniest amount that you can. I also like to lance my cigars. I put 4 holes in the top if I can, 4 holes right above the band, and then 4 holes right in the foot. So I put 12 holes in it. It helps with the airflow, and to me, it opens the cigar up. You don't have to do it. It's just my personal preference. That's the thing I love about this hobby. Today's video is a little long. I think it's the longest one I've ever done. So far we're at about 23 minutes. I try to keep them up under that time frame. My best friend, Terry, Terry Taylor, T Taylor, man. He's like, dude, you talk too much. And I was like, you know what? It's my channel. I'm having a good time. I want to talk about the cigar. And I encourage you, like, yeah, this is a good quality cigar to put in your humidor. Um, and with it, it's well put together. So the cellophane thing that I'm starting to learn is that if you want your cigar to stay crisp, you want the wrapper and the cigar to remain and hold its integrity, you can leave it in the cellophane. If you want a little bit more flavor in your cigar, just a little bit more flavor, you can take the cellophane off. I would encourage like maybe the cigars that you know that you're gonna smoke within a couple of weeks or a month. Then you take the cellophane off. If you feel like they're gonna be sitting in your humidor for a little bit, leave the cellophane on them. And it helps prevent the marrying of the flavors a little bit. If you don't want your flavors, your medium and your full body cigars to marry together, and I kind of stick to medium cigars. I do not like light body cigars. I'm not really a fan of those. And full body, those are for special occasions. because you got to be careful with full bodies. If you're not used to them, if you haven't eaten, if you don't have any kind of sugar content, I always say you do not have to have alcohol with your drink. You can just make sure it's something sugary. Get your ginger ale, or something of that nature, to go with your drink, as long as it's sugary, because it is going to lower your blood sugar a little bit. Make sure that you hydrate before you have a cigar. Um, you want to get you 128 ounces of water before you have your cigar. Make sure you eat before you have your cigar, so that you don't get nauseated, so that you don't get sick on the stomach or whatnot. And picking a day like today is just absolutely wonderful. You can just go outside and just sit, hit cigars on the front porch, and have just a good time. I want to thank the subscribers to the channel. Right now, I'm at, I think, 43 subscribers after 19 videos, 18 videos. This is the 19th one. I don't know if I'm gonna do something special for the 20th. Let me take it back. I am, but I don't know what I'm gonna do for the 20th video. I'll come up with something, but it'll be a special one. I already know what I know what I'm gonna do. If I'm in the mood for it and it works, I'm gonna review The Girl with No Name. Oh yeah, I've been waiting on that one to come out for a while. I got two of them in the humidor. They're expensive. For me, they are. They were like $15 a piece, so they're expensive. But I got them in there, and they've been sitting for a while now, a little bit, so they about ready. So I think maybe for the 20th, I'm gonna do The Girl with No Name. I'm gonna try to. Well, hopefully I can. But stay tuned. We're finishing up on the final third of the CAO Brazilia. I ain't even gotta finish the final third. Just tell you, it's a good cigar. It's a good, stable body, backbone cigar to have in your humidor. If I got a good friend, I give them away as a man, take this one. You're gonna like this one, and give them this one. A little nutty, a little sweet, a little earth, a little sweetness in that little earth, a little toasty, but I like the little nutty flavor, a little sweet. It's like I got muscles. See my muscles. So stay tuned as we go into the final third of this CAO, uh, the CAO Brazilia, and we're gonna work with this. So stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe to Cigars on the Front Porch. All right. We are back with Cigars on the Front Porch. We're finishing off on the CAO Brazilia 5x56 Toro. It is a medium bodied cigar. The wrapper is Brazilian. The binder is Nicaraguan. The filler is Nicaraguan. I like Brazilian or African, not African, Brazilian. Well, yeah, Cameroon. Brazilian, African based cigars, Mexican based cigars with the wrapper or whatnot, or filler or binder. Anytime I see Cameroon, uh, or Brazilian, um, in with the cigar, I'm like, yeah, I gotta get it. I gotta try it. Just something about that particular flavor. I am finishing up on the front porch with cigars on the front porch. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We want to get that membership up, the number of people. This is episode number 19. It's been a minute since I've made one. I am finishing up, and I'm not gonna be shamefaced. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I brought this one down to the nub. I'm gonna let it go gracefully. Great cigar. Great cigar. I paid, since those have stuck around for 29 minutes, almost 30 minutes on this one. I have, the price I paid for this one, $4. $4. If you send me a message, I'll see the site where I get my cigars. I bid on them online. I don't like going to the shops and buying them. I will if it's something that's hard to come by or something I really, really want. The reason is, for the price that I paid for one cigar in the cigar shop, I can order them online and get five for the price of one. So I would give this one a very good rating. Go out, go get it. It's a CAO Brazilia 5x56. It is a great. It's a very good cigar, leaning toward grape. The reason why I didn't give it a great is because of the flavor, that I like. But as far as just steady consistency, construction, how well it is, how relaxing it is, it's been an hour and 52 minutes. I thought this thing was going to go an hour and a half, hour and 45 tops. But this thing is almost, this cigar is almost 2 hours. So it's a great cigar. It's a great cigar. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, Cigars on the Front Porch. This is your host, Uncle Scotty, and I will see you on the 20th episode. We'll probably do The Girl with No Name. That's what I'm looking toward. Usually I don't like to say too much in advance. But yeah, The Girl with No Name. That's a good, I think that's going to be the next one. So thank you. Like and subscribe. And this will finish up episode number 19 with the CAO Brazilia 5x56 Cigars on the Front Porch. Thank you. As I always try to say at the end of every video, you're special. You have a purpose and you're uniquely made. You're important and you're valued. Don't worry about what other people say. Be important and be valued to yourself. And then others will see that light in you. And then they, in turn, will feel important and valued because you have light in you. Always keep your water pitcher full. I'm talking about a physical water pitcher. I'm talking about the metaphysical, the intangible filter inside of you. Try to keep that as filled as possible. So that's one of the reasons why I sit out here. People are like, well, cigars aren't healthy. No, not necessarily. They aren't. There's a lot of things I hear: overeating, overdoing anything else, stress. But when I sit out here on the front porch and I have a cigar for an hour and a half or 2 hours, I just feel like all the stress, all the troubles in my life just dissipate. I turn my brain off and I just relax. And there's no more troubles. There's no more worries. It just kind of takes me back to my childhood. One of my favorite movies, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I got a whole bunch of movies. That's one of my favorite ones. Shane, that's another favorite movie. But nevertheless, I'm getting off subject. Go ahead and stock your humidor with this cigar. It is a very good cigar. Very good cigar. Like and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode of Cigars on the Front Porch. It's your host, Uncle Scotty. The longest video I've made, 32 minutes plus. But it was well worth it. I got a lot of information in there. All right. We'll see you next time on Cigars on the Front Porch. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell as many people as possible. Let's get those subscriptions up. Thank you.